I'm not gonna lie, I was pleasantly surprised with what we'll talk about here today in the video. At 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 7 p.m. GMT, I believe, we ended up getting the information, the countdown timer from yesterday in the Alcatraz tease, ended up showcasing, and it was a bombshell indeed. Today we're going to talk about all that, of course, and then also kind of combine it with our things to look out for, because this week is rather intriguing, some big stuff on deck, and some still big question marks we don't know exactly about. So if you're not subbed, be sure to hit that subscribe button and maybe even the bell icon as well. As I mentioned yesterday, it turns out 65% of viewers aren't actually subbed to the channel, so if you want to stay up to date and don't want to miss daily updates for Black Ops 4, make sure you hit that button so you're in the know. That said, let's jump right into it. First things first, we ended up getting a trailer for Alcatraz. It's officially confirmed, revealed, all that good stuff, except not necessarily in the way that we may have anticipated. Tomorrow, Alcatraz launches for PlayStation 4 users, a week later for Xbox One and PC, but get this, it's not just a POI, it's its own brand new map. It's not going to be part of the standard Blackout map that we know of, or at least so it seems, but instead is going to be its own queuable map in which you can play just on Alcatraz. We got a lot to talk about and break down here with that, so of course we'll get into all of it, but in the background you can see some of the trailer that's going on with this, and you'll see a little bit of the playable areas, some of the weaponry, and a lot of cool stuff is going to be happening as of tomorrow. In terms of the map size, it seems like pretty much everything here is going to be playable. You have your shores, your hallways, your main prisons, the catacombs, docks, water tower, lookout tower, gondola, you name it, but it's definitely going to be way smaller than that of the Blackout map that we know of currently. I'll come back and make this reference once again, but if I were to guess, it kind of looks like maybe say twice the size of Nuketown Island in the standard Blackout map at the very moment. One interesting thing also that you have to really listen for in the trailer is that somebody mentions the squad redeploy. So it seems like this is going to be in line with a sort of hot pursuit or a down but not out game mode where redeploying is a thing. So it's gonna get quite hectic quite fast here because it's a close quarters map completely designed as such and even showcased in the marketing material of the trailer, but the squad redeploys not only heard but also seen because in one frame Crash ends up dying and then he comes back with just a pistol a few frames later. But the things to infer here out of this is that one, again, it's super close quarters combat. Doesn't seem like there's many long lines of sight, though in the trailer you do see that Zero pulls out a Paladin. There might be one or two places where sniping is ideal, but personally, I think that snipers may be a little bit more foregone in this map, and instead, it's best maybe to run with a rifle and SMG or rifle and shotgun. The big question though, because it is its own standalone map and it does look way smaller than that of the standard Blackout map, is what's the player count gonna be? That's the big question I've seen so far, and until tomorrow we have no definitive answer, but I'm now kind of second guessing myself and what I thought previously about that Blackout After Dark playlist that popped up a couple of days ago for a few reasons. Number one, we previously thought that it was going to be just a new POI, which wouldn't really detract from the game elsewhere, the lobby size, the map flow, none of that kind of stuff, because if it was just added in, it really wouldn't change any of the fundamentals from the Blackout mode as a whole. But now, with it not being a new POI, but instead being a brand new map, this kind of makes more sense for the options of matchmaking. And the one big thing that we can end up seeing with that Blackout After Dark, air quote, leak if you want to call it that, was there was a max player count of 40 players. Not 100, not 80 like an LTM, not 60, but 40. So that makes sense for a couple of different reasons to me, and firstly, talking map size. Alcatraz, again, is labeled as a close quarters map, specifically by the trailer. Like we mentioned, it kind of looks about twice the size of Nuketown Island if it were based off of my own just rough estimations. But what's crazy though is that even if it seems like a big area, imagine 50 plus players dropping into, say, Nuketown Island. That's absolutely insane. So I definitely don't see Alcatraz lobbies queuing up with 100 players or again, even that LTM number of 80. That theoried and previously considered a leaked playlist of 40 actually kind of makes sense. Secondly, talking map selection, being that it's its own brand new map, we're gonna have two maps in rotation now, but given that players will want to select the map of their choice, the fact that that lobby size probably is going to differ, how best do you allow for both those parameters to be checked off simultaneously? A new playlist. So the more and more I think about it, I definitely think that the name of Blackout After Dark was no mistake for the CWL tournament that happened the other day, but I think that honestly it could also have been a subtle early tease of what's to come. And from a networking and developmental perspective, it's certainly the most efficient way to keep an existing map and lobby constraints available, while also introducing a new map and lobby setting that doesn't take away from just the standard base playlist of it. So come tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if we do end up actually finally seeing that Blackout After Dark and making that a maybe 40-player playlist with only the introduction in that playlist of Alcatraz as the playable map. So certainly excited to see where that may go, but things that we didn't see in this gameplay trailer were any new weapons or character skins. That was something that I kind of thought we'd end up seeing at least one little teaser, especially given the fact that, again, we're still missing Misty and David Mason. Figured they'd maybe make their way over into this trailer as a little teaser, but that's not the case so much. As for other things that are pretty cool out of this, we saw some Easter eggs. Actually, the song in the background is actually called Battle Royale, so nice touch there, Treyarch. And then also, I don't know how many guys caught the Replacer Prison Break reference there. If you know, you know. The final big question that I want to kind of tackle here in a discussion about this is, will it be added into the standard map? Personally, I don't think so. I think this was definitely something completely out of left field that not many people were expecting, that it's its own brand new map here with this, but as a result, it's probably too big for the regular map. That's probably why it's its own standalone thing. You can't fit everything that was awesome in Alcatraz in just the regular map without severely expanding the size of that map. So to me, I don't think we're going to see that POI, and I think the only standard POI change we'll have within the regular Blackout map was Ghost Town at the beginning of the operation. But that also leads then into the next roadmap for discussion here, because we had previously wondered what this would mean for maybe adding in a new POI to start out Operation 4. I think that now this is untouched and we'll get another POI added into the base standard map as of Operation 4, but not this one being added in halfway. So certainly curious, and of course something that we didn't necessarily expect, but I'm all for it. The next big thing though that came out of this trailer and announcement was that Blackout is gonna be free to play. No charge whatsoever, starting tomorrow, going until April 30th, until the end of the month. And you heard that right, 100% free. You can just download the sort of trial version of it. It's not gonna be like PlayStation Plus where you get to keep it afterwards, but instead it's gonna be its own sort of application you can boot up and queue in the same lobbies with everybody else that has the game itself. So maybe this is a push now towards Blackout going free to play. We don't exactly know, but for 1 month exactly, for almost one whole month, I know you're missing like one day, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC users can play Blackout all together for no charge whatsoever. I'm stoked for this. I can't wait, because this means that we're going to see some new lobbies probably. I'm going to go for my own personal kill records. We're going to be trying to get some killer gameplays up here. But that was the big exciting stuff here out of Black Ops 4 and the universe here, but that might not be the only thing, because while this is a big focus on Blackout, a big content edition at that, we just saw that Zombies had one, MP's still kind of been left to the wayside per se since the operation began. But again, I think that's definitely when we'll start to see the other things to look out for, mainly, firstly, being that mini content stream for MP. We still haven't seen the Vendetta sniper rifle or Mini 14 at this point. We still have, again, a couple of Blackout skins that we may see in there, a couple of camos maybe thrown in the mix. But as we mentioned beforehand, we end up seeing that the Barbarians event dropped with 28 days left in Absolute Zero. Tomorrow is that 28-day point for what's left on Grand Heist. So falls perfectly in line by following the same similar patterns here that we've seen beforehand. Then I also wouldn't be surprised, the next thing to look out for, wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal Sandstorm finally comes, but if it doesn't, again, that might be something to hold a little bit more until the, say, 2-week mark left to kind of tide players over into leading into Operation 4, because if it all comes all at once tomorrow, well, then we have about a month of a dry spell. We're not going to have all that much granted to players outside of, say, things in special orders or the shop, and that's not entirely the content that people like to see. So we'll see if that one comes along with it as well, but chances are we're also probably going to have a brand new featured playlist up on deck. We still have 3 in contention that we know of for this operation in particular, that being Prop Hunt, Infected, and Deathmatch Domination. Now I say this with about a 50% up in the air certainty here for this, because Xbox One and PC still have yet to see the introduction of Bare Bones, but PlayStation 4 has had that for a week exclusively so far. So on one hand, I do think that it's possible we see a new featured playlist thrown in the mix as well, but I also think that we're going to see Bare Bones continue on for 1 more week as that featured playlist, so then we end up seeing 3 weeks left and 3 featured playlists to come later on. I don't think those are going to be stuck behind exclusivity like Bare Bones will be, because that's technically to PlayStation and Sony, air quote, new content, because we haven't seen that introduced in any previous iteration of the game or in this game already, whereas we've seen things like Infected and Prop Hunts already added into Call of Duties before, so it's not necessarily, air quote, new. Same with Deathmatch Domination, it's just a mashup of two modes that already exist. So in that sense, we could see 3 weeks left on the operation with one of those rotating in each week, and so therefore that might be the exact way that we go for it, but just because we don't entirely know, I want to keep that on your radar, something to look out for as well. And the final thing to talk about comes down to that of new characters in Blackout. Again, we've mentioned this a couple of times, so I don't want to stay on it too long, but the things like Misty and David Mason have been in the game files for quite some time. Misty even there from the very beginning in the player selection menu from Blackout, all the way at the beginning of Grand Heist. Not now, but still, she was there at one point, still in the game files. Same thing goes for David Mason. And so who knows, maybe we end up seeing some sort of new introduction of Blackout characters, given that it's a massive Blackout update tomorrow. It certainly is possible that we see something in the shop or even just a quest line for a character introduced as well. And actually, now's probably a better time than ever to introduce David Mason if he is going to be one of those characters that has a quest line, because if we're having everybody that is interested in new content on a completely new map added in for Blackout, everybody would be checking that out. But for the players that don't necessarily care about Alcatraz or don't care about playing a smaller and more tight close quarters Blackout variation, there's not really all that much that's added in for the regular map. So maybe we see that quest line added in for the overall Blackout experience and standard map as is, and so you get something on both fronts of that. One brief little mention also that I almost forgot is that we've talked about it before, but again, there might be a new Gauntlet on the way as well for Dead of the Night. That's something that might be added in just so that it also then kind of levels the playing field where everybody gets something with a new content update as of tomorrow. We of course have no idea if this is going to happen, but if we end up getting a Blackout update, an MP update, yeah, Zombies just got a DLC map, but it also would be something that, again, is newer and tides players over again until presumably maybe the next operation when another Gauntlet is added in. That said, that's where we're going to wrap it up here at this one. That's all you need to know about Blackout, the brand new Alcatraz map, the brand new maybe playlist, the game mode going free to play for nearly an entire month, and 5 things to look out for on top of that. So that said, that's where we're going to wrap it up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm super excited here for all of this, so let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. You guys are going to be jumping into Alcatraz tomorrow. You guys are going to be dropping into the shores, the main prison, the catacombs, docks, water tower, you name it. Let me know. But I'm excited to see everybody enjoying Alcatraz and also a month free of Blackout. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 4, MP, Blackout, Zombies. We have to cover the best of updates, news, information, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. So if any of that interests you, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, there's the best place to get connected outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. But that said, now, thank you guys all so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.